She reads the body like a weathered map, knows where the fault lines they can crack. Hands steady, eyes on fire, delivers life, then climbs still higher. By daylight she is science and bone, by night she listens to the unknown. She doesn't borrow truth from borrowed name. She watches planets burn their own arcane flame. She is the physician of stars, with her feet in the water and her soul on Mars. Counting cycles, breaking scars, midwife for worlds, wherever you are. She doesn't follow the clock or the crowd. She listens to the sky and she listens out loud. Yeah. Braided hair catching solar wind, ice blue eyes that see through skin. She doesn't ask permission to know, she lets the real constellation show. 13 pathways, one long arc. She walks the edge between dark and spark. She's not afraid of the void or flame. She knows rebirth never comes the same. She is the physician of stars. She knows rebirth never comes the same. She is the physician of stars, with blood and myth in perfect accord, holding heaven inside her scars, writing medicine straight into the cord. She doesn't pray to the older skies, she reads the truth written in the sky. She loves the ocean and the thrill of speed, wind in her hair, no need to plead. Fire in the lungs, lightning in hips, truth on her tongue, no practice lips. She cannot lie, she cannot fold. She was born remembering what others forgot to be told. She is the physician of stars, delivering futures with steady hands, breaking cages, bending bars, teaching time how to understand. She doesn't dim, she doesn't wait, she opens gates that others call fate. And when the sky forgets its name, she'll still be here doing the same, watching cycles rise and fall, midwife to the cosmos, mother to it all.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to The Real Sky. I'm Dr. Danny. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are having a magical day and living your best lives. Today, I'm going to show you a really cool, hidden thing about astrology that you can use no matter what system you practice, whether you like tropical, true sky, Vedic. It's all the same when you are working with the relationships between the planets. And Venus is in a very unique position. For a while, for about 2 weeks, she was in the front of the pack, and then the moon took its place. And in about 10 days, the moon will switch to the back of the line and Venus will be in front. So I wanted to show you the Venus transits. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I wanted to show you the Venus transits, and then I wanted to show you the hidden order of the planets in the sky right now. It's a very unique time and a perfect time for this teaching because they're all sort of clumped together up there. And so we're going to pick it apart, and I'm going to show you a way to look at it and analyze it. And then I'm going to show you how to do it in your own chart. And then maybe if you guys are still with me and interested, somebody can just give me their birthday, because I don't really need your birth time. I don't even really need the location. I just need the order of the planets. So this will hopefully be a nice teaching for everyone and anyone that comes to the channel, hopefully new subscribers. So good to see all of you all. I've had quite a crazy week with social media, and it's fine. It's Mercury retrograde in my 10th house next to the North Node, conjunct my Jupiter. It's just expansion, and expansion is painful. And if you're not, so let me tell you something about YouTube. I appreciate YouTube. I appreciate YouTube and the way that they allow us all to connect. It's just fascinating to me. This wasn't a thing when I was younger, and it's just so cool. I know people all over the world now because of this channel. And I was fortunate enough to qualify for monetization about, 2 or 3 years ago. So I said, sure. And then I was like, mid-rolls are kind of annoying. So I left them out. And, I get pennies to the dollar maybe every month. And then YouTube said, start a membership. this will be a great way for you to bring community to your channel. I said, yeah, I'm thinking about Patreon though, but I don't know. It didn't really grab me. And YouTube was like, it's easy. We can do it right here and right now. And then, so I said, all right. And I started it. And it never occurred to me that somebody who does the work I do would ever be flagged for inauthentic content by an AI algorithm, which in and of itself is fundamentally inauthentic. So that happened on Tuesday of this week, and they asked me to submit an appeal video. So I did that. Those of you that joined the Patreon, you can see the appeal video. And they said, hey, it could take 2 weeks. And I'm like, are you kidding me? 2 weeks is a lifetime in community. It's a lifetime in social media. And I was it sort of forced my hand to open the Patreon membership. But the good news is I actually really like the Patreon platform as a creator. It seems very well put together, very easy to use. You can join for free over there and just get, basically the daily lunar shorts. You can get the these live streams because I am streaming live to Patreon right now tonight. So this is pretty cool, right? So we have this new platform now. I got remonetized on YouTube because within 24 hours they said, okay, you can have it back. But I didn't want to reopen the membership. I didn't want to expand into a larger membership and then have that community pulled for some inane reason. So that's the decision that happened in the real sky this week. I've been pulling all those cords. Plus, we're onboarding Vishal and trying to sort out the whole Meta Instagram universe. So we're expanding into Instagram. We're expanding into Patreon. We're going to stay here on YouTube. We're going to do the thing we've been doing. It's just if you want to, a little deeper look into your chart, if you want a little deeper community, Patreon's a place to be. And you can do it free, or you can join and be a member. You can become a stargazer on Patreon. And we're meeting once a month right around the new moon to talk about the stars. So that was a fun journey. Been doing that, creating content, just trying to get new footing in all this expansion and chaos. So how have you guys been doing since the new moon? That was a Saturn Neptune new moon, right? We had sun and moon next to Saturn and Neptune, and it really shone light on things that were slipping away, things that weren't grounded in reality, even though Neptune's like the sky's the limit, do whatever you want, create whatever you want. So it was very interesting juggling all of that this week. But yeah, today's teaching is going to be awesome. I want to see who's here. Let's see. Let's put the chat on the screen and say hello to all you beautiful souls. Lori's here. Thank you so much, Lori. I really appreciate you. Lori's over there on Patreon with us too. And she posted the link to get your birth chart. I don't even need your email, y'all. You can just click on that and put in your birth details. If you don't know your birth time, just put in 12 o'clock and it'll give you your sun and moon at least. Sunny's here. Janine's here. Let's see. We also have 1DJDZ. Hello, hello. And we have Chad Benson, Northern Minnesota. See, we have all these beautiful souls from all over the place. It's just so awesome. Janine says, hi, Dr. Danny. Glad to be here. I'm a newbie at Real Sky Astrology in general, but suddenly became fascinated with accuracy and you putting out the truth. Cool. Yeah. So check this out. So what you're going to learn today, if it fascinates you, if you're just like, oh my God, please don't stop teaching, then you guys need to go and join the cycles course. And I'll show you a link to that because that's kind of your next step. And then you also want to do the free level 1 and all of that can get you started and interpreting pretty quickly. Sprout Queen has a Patreon. Start posting over there, girlfriend. Do it. Oh, I got a birthday already. Cool. Yeah, we're going to do that towards the end. I have to blow your minds first because this is really a cool technique. And it's why daily horoscopes are important because the flavor of the sky changes every single day. Every single day. Got a couple birthdays. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Astara Lee, thanks for being here. Melinda Bouchard's here. Ultimus is here. Hello, friend. Look at all you beautiful souls. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Yeah, you don't really need a lot of astrology knowledge to do this. We're going to get a little bit technical towards the end, but repetition, that's how it gets familiar. Moon 8's here. White Lutheran's here. Welcome, you guys. Yeah, spring equinox. I didn't get too excited about equinox this year. I have a whole other teaching about the equinox and how it didn't used to be a big deal, at least for the ancients. Only a select few who knew how to work the water clocks and chime the bells and all of that knew about equinox. But the solstice was way more important in ancient astrology. That's why I love the solstices. Cool. Well, I'm so glad you all are here, and I'm going to get into this. I don't have any new announcements really. I just wanted to give you guys sort of the download of what was happening this week. And if you were confused, if you were a member and now you're not, it's because I am no longer letting YouTube host that because of their complete instability. I mean, if their algorithm can pluck someone like me, guys, I don't even wear makeup when I do my live streams. Like, this is my face. Okay. I'm just me. So anyway, if an AI algorithm can do that, then we don't need to subject ourselves to that chicanery. Let me think how I want to start this. If I want to jump right into the presentation, or if maybe I want to just show you what's so cool about the real sky right now. Let me do that. Yep. And you guys would have been proud of me. I almost figured out how to do scenes over here on Restream, but I chickened out because I did not want our live stream to glitch. So anyway, let's look at this from a couple of different angles. This is stellarium-web.org. It's a wonderful simulation of our sky that you can manipulate and play with and spin it around and look at it from all sorts of fun different ways. And so I love this, and I set this to 4-2, but we can bring it back to where we are today. Let's go back to 21st. And I stopped the time so we could see it. We could slow it down and check it out. And then I also set this setting over here. I set this to ecliptic line. And then what that does is it gives you this line right here, this red line, if you guys can see that. And that traces the path of the sun, right? Now, you can put in the constellations or take them out. You can put in the art or take them out. I like just putting in the line art because the names are there at least. And then you can take the landscape out or put it back in. So here's what I've been doing recently, and I think this really helps to take the sky and make that transition into an astrological chart. I think that's the biggest leap for a lot of people, because they're like, well, what kind of system are you doing? I'm like, this really isn't a system. It's just, kind of charting what's actually happening in the night sky. And because this software program exists and we can manipulate it in ways, we can really see how the chart is born from the movements of the luminaries. So again, no matter what planetology system you practice, whether you use the real sky and the sun's in Pisces, or you practice tropical and your sun's in Aries right now, it doesn't matter. This is where my chart comes from. So it's not really Vedic and it's not tropical. It's just saying, the sun's in Pisces, right? So that's where we put it and that's where we read it. It's really not that complicated. But that's not the point of today's discussion. I just wanted to show you what the sky looks like. And I wanted to draw your attention to this area over here. It gets a little silly, but what I'm going to do is put Sun, Mars, Mercury, all that mess right there. We're going to put it in the middle of the sky so we can play with it a little bit. And this is so neat because this alignment isn't always bunched up like this. We have Moon here in front. We have Venus here behind the moon. we have Sun right here, we have Mars, and we have Mercury. So it's as if all of our personal planets have lined up to teach us something about the way they move today. And I think it's perfect. So at any rate, this is what's happening. If we go back just a few months, for example, the order is very different. You see, here you have Mercury, Mars, Sun, and Venus, where Venus is in the front when we go to today's date. And I think that matters. I think that changes the flavor. I think that's why some days we feel different than other days. Why, one set of energies can feel so different to different people depending on what their own natal hidden order of the planets are. So here they are. They're not hiding. They're all sitting right here, ready to be discussed. Um, so let's put the moon in the front here. And as the moon's the quickest mover. So the moon will shoot around the zodiac every 29 days. And we can actually see what this looks like by manipulating the software just a little bit. So let me put this back on the horizon, and we're going to zoom out, and we're going to roll it up just a little bit and close this and go back to our red ring. And then I'm going to take out the ground. Oh, and then I'm going to roll it around again. Oh my goodness. Here we go. God, why do you do this? There we go. Now we're going to move day by day, and we're going to watch how the moon right here will move around, how Mercury will change places with Mars. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you're not, zoom in if you can, and watch what happens. So there's the moon moving around each day. I'm going to do this again in the chart. I just want you to see what it looks like in the actual sky. After this full moon right here, the moon goes to the back of the line. Okay. And Venus is now in front. So it's Venus, Sun, Saturn, Mars, Mercury. And as we continue moving, the moon, you see, will swoop through this order. Mercury's going to change directions with Mars. And here we are again a month later, but this time, instead of Mercury being at the back of the pack, it's now Mars's turn. Don't worry, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to repeat it, but I wanted you to see what we're watching. This is a bit of a counterclockwise movement. For those of you that live in the Southern Hemisphere, I'm thinking about doing a special presentation just for you where we flip everything around and we look at it as you would naturally, looking towards the Earth's equator. But that's for another presentation. For those of my Down Under friends, let me know if you'd be interested in hearing about that. But let me take you to the real sky. So let's go into the now chart. And let me show you what just a few hours ago looked like. This is the chart that I showed you in the sky with the sun right here. You see that? This is today, right before sunrise. So you have moon, Venus, sun, Mars, and Mercury. And so let's do that again. Let's do that exercise again, but this time we'll do it in the astrological chart. So you can see it's the same sky. It's the same exact deal, but it's right here. So we'll watch the moon. And again, when the moon gets to its full moon, its light changes directions, and therefore it is cycled to the back of the line, and Venus takes the front as Venus is entering into Aries. So we have a very interesting time ahead of us. So I'm going to do a Venus update with you before we get into the teaching of this order. I want you to see everything that Venus is making aspects to, because those 2 weeks leading up to the next new moon, which happens on top of Chiron, where Venus is right now, this all ties together. And this deeper understanding will help us move through these energies with grace, with a little bit of like skill, right? How do we actually manage these energies? So that's how everything moves. Hopefully you guys understand that. Lori says she has great video and audio. So that is awesome. And White Lutheran says, I've always been keen for a Southern Hemisphere perspective. Yeah, it's if we're doing it visually, I think that is something we can absolutely do. All right, let me put that down. Let me go back into here. Let's look at the PowerPoint and get into this. Just remember the movement of those planets, the sky that we're looking at, because we're going to take pieces of the chart. And the reason I named it this is for two reasons. I mean, it's Venus is sort of feeling into what the sun and then Mars and then Mercury are going to be mingling in. So if we analyze what she's going through as well as the moon, we can get an idea of how the sun and the moon on that new moon in April will feel. So, and then you can also learn about this hidden order. So here is this current energy for Venus. These are her aspects that she makes every single month. For those of you that have been around a while, you see this every few weeks. But for those of you that are new, this is only explaining Venus's aspects. I also highlight the new moon and full moon. I also highlight direction changes and sign changes for the big planets. So we can keep track in real time on the calendar that we normally are familiar with. And so here we are right here on the 21st. Venus is within orb of planet Chiron. So when we think about Venus energy and what it might feel like next to Chiron energy, we get to kind of intuit into that over the next 10 days or so, because once we get to the full moon, Venus will let go of that aspect to Chiron, but it'll give us an idea of what this next new moon might be like. So what might that feel like? Well, we're in the middle of Venus square Jupiter. So for me, that has manifested as growth that feels a little bit uncomfortable. It's it's like keeping your eyes peeled open, when you're exhausted, but you're like almost there. And my system's equipped to handle that, but I'm feeling it this week for sure. And so it's been a struggle to keep the intentions and the vibrations and the energy high through this space here where we had the new moon. Thankfully, I have my Yoni magic group, and we just had a magical discussion that evening. So hopefully you all were able to do that too, no matter what stresses were coming your way, the things that were bothering you. I mean, this was definitely like a last minute release for me to let go of that part of YouTube. I mean, I honestly didn't even know if I was going to get my channel back. I mean, the monetization back or the membership, or they could have said no, right? I mean, those were all the things that were going through my head. So I just let it go. I was like, fine, I don't care. Yeah, so that's a little bit of Lilith energy too, I guess. But now we're in this Chiron phase, and Chiron is so interesting. Um, some people don't think it's a thing. We look at it as the ruler of Ophiuchus. It's the wounded healer teacher. When you think about Chiron, the mythology, you think about this immortal that was mortally wounded, right? I mean, he was hit in the heel with a poisoned arrow, and that wound never healed. So, like, imagine you're going to live forever with a wound that doesn't heal. That's the art of suffering, right? This is the martyr energy. Like they are truly adept at moving through the suffering energy. And I always talk about how planets achieve enlightenment, right? Like what's their enlightenment phase? What do they have to do to express the highest version of themselves? And for Venus, it's expressing, it's sensing the physical and sending that back to creator. It's the only planet that does that for you. So everything that you taste and touch and smell and feel and all of that is something that you give back to source, because source doesn't know what that feels like. So it's Venus's job to sense things. And I think it's not just the good things, it's the good and the bad, right? It's spirit into matter when you look at her symbol, the circle and the cross. But Chiron, he resists enlightenment, right? Because if he's the wounded healer and there's no wounds left to heal, if the wounds are integrated, then like he has nothing to do. But I think there's a hidden power behind Chiron that we don't talk about a lot, right? It's has to do with our magic. I think that's what it is. It's our greatness. It's like, what is our supernatural healing ability? I mean, Chiron brought people back from the dead. So did Jesus, and that's Ophiuchus energy. I mean, near-death experiences, crossing the other side and coming back. That's kind of what Chiron has to do, right? He kinda has to die a little bit and then, like, realize that all is one and imperfections are actually part of the plan, and evil is just the other side of good. It's just the absence of light, uh, and compassion, true love. I mean, that's Chiron in his highest expression. So there can be a lot of vulnerability here. There could be, a creative way of healing. Or maybe there's a physical way of healing because Venus likes to feel and sense. So maybe sound vibrations, listening to peaceful sounds, getting a massage, just treating yourself really nicely, healing yourself, giving yourself whatever, like, just relaxes you, makes you feel good. There's opportunity for that. So there can be a lot of self healing here. So this could be a great week to kind of gather, all the pieces from the chaos in the recent weeks. And then we get ready for some big shifts. I think a little quiet time, a little downtime sometimes is always nice because then when you go back, go outside, enjoy some weather, right? Enjoy some water. If it's warm enough, get into your pool or river or lake, and definitely also gaze at the sky because there's some beautiful stargazing or planet Venus gazing during this time as well. So I think that can be nice. I think that can be really nice. But what happens when the sun and the moon get there? That's less about the creative approach. That's less about flow. That's less about kind of understanding where those vulnerabilities are and more about showing it, right? Showing it and really feeling into it. So when they get there right here, it could be very tender, very sensitive, especially if we're blindsided by it. So I think a lot of internal self-healing, being really good to your body the next couple of weeks is the right remedy to handle anything that the collective energy puts out there or that might come up for you. And also we want to be ready for Venus's square to Pluto. Okay, this is happening during the full moon and it's happening as she's shifting into Aries. And I'm gonna do another, live stream probably this week to talk about Venus in Aries. It's short. It's only 17 days. You can see she moves into Pisces down here. And but it's fiery. It's hot, but it's not what you think. It's a little bit different. I've been thinking about this, and, I wanna see what you guys think too. So we'll have a Virgo full moon. The moon will move to the back of the pack. Venus will be in the head of the pack. She'll have just come from a nice little respite here at the end of Pisces, and then she takes on Pluto in a square and jumps into the fire of Aries right as the moon is culminating, So, like, I think you should underprogram this week. Like, if you can get rid of stuff and do, like, things that are just relaxing for you, this might be really, really a good time to do that. Because, like I said, after this when this full moon hits, it's gonna be sparkly, it's gonna pop a little. We're gonna feel it. But you're gonna be ready because I just finished that video, and it's gonna be posted soon for the stargazers on Patreon, so hopefully I'll see you guys over there. And then, a few days before, we'll post it to the general public here on YouTube. So check this out. We're square to Pluto right after the full moon, right on the full moon until about the 7th of April, and then that wears off. And then it's nice. Then it can be really, really good. I think this confrontation with Pluto energy is a destiny energy, and I'll explain that when we get to this nodal energy. But let's talk a little bit about Pluto and Venus together. Like, if Venus has a dark side, Pluto can bring it out. Okay, so if your Venus has a little bit of dark or shadow, Pluto can probably bring it out of her. And that's very interesting, but he's not doing it to, like, torture you or torment you or make you feel like you're less of a creator or less divine or less amazing. He's doing it to expose your truth to yourself. Pluto doesn't like ego really, right? So if you're showing up with a lot of ego, a lot of fire, um, he'll burn it away. So this is like authentic creation. And again, that downtime right before this is the best way to come to Pluto. Don't come at Pluto with anything. Like don't fight it. You have to kind of go, all right, Pluto, let's go. Um, and at the same time, during that same square time energy, as the moon culminates, as Venus switches into fire, there's a sextile and a trine to the north and the south node. So will be trining the south node, accessing your skills, your gifts, all of your comfort zone energy, and then giving you an opportunity to evolve, which is the north node, the sextile to the north node. So that's why I say if you just kind of go with it and like let whatever comes come at you and say, okay, I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be very shifty. But if you're open to it, if you're curious, if you leave ego at the door, it could be very beneficial. Because right after that, like the third quarter moon, we have Venus sextile to Jupiter. And this is amazing. If the square's hard, the sextile's easy. And you don't have to do it, but it's nice. You can give, you can be generous, you can receive. It could be a nice little bump in your bank account. This can be a lot of great energy. So I think really the only kind of shift in the road for Venus in the next 3 weeks or so is this as we approach the full moon, the square to Pluto. It feels really karmic, really destined, like it's changing you into something else. And then you reap the benefits of that during the second half of the moon. And then we have a new moon in Pisces on Chiron as Venus enters Taurus. So that's really kind of the rundown of the Venus energy in the coming weeks. Um, so yeah, I think we have a nice little rest coming up this week here. It should feel pretty good. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, yeah, let me just step out of here and then make sure you guys are good and you can see me and hear me and all that. All right, let me stop the sharing. Did I stop sharing? No, I did not. Huh. How do I do that? Ruh-roh. We might be sharing all day and all night here. That's so funny. Oh, there we go. Why do all of the damn like subscription services and like your Windows security and like your phone, why do they always want to update during Mercury retrograde? Has anybody noticed that? Like you got an update, like great, and then you run it and then it doesn't work. Like it doesn't help you. So, oh my gosh. Good. I'm glad you guys can see. All right. We got 32, 33 in the chat. All right. Good. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to show you now the order of we already saw it in the sky. We saw it in the chart. Let's break this down. What does each of these planets mean when we're talking about mundane astrology and the whole world? So let's take a look. We're not sharing audio. We're sharing that. Okay. Oops, not that. There we go. All right, let's talk about our sun, our beautiful sun. What does it mean? Why do we care about it? Well, our entire lives are basically revolve around the sun, literally. I mean, our calendar's made from it. Our seasons are described by it. Day and night when we sleep are described by it. So the sun will always move from well, it moves from east to west every day, but as it moves through the stars behind it or the sign behind it, it moves from west to east. Okay, so it's a slower leftward counterclockwise transit while every day the sun will rise in your eastern sky and set in the western sky. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, that's backwards, right? It rises in the east, but it's a clockwise movement if you're looking down at the chart. Anyway, we'll get into that. It never goes retrograde and it moves steadily through the constellations, completing a full cycle in about 365 days. It is the most consistent and reliable luminary, at least in the recent future, recent past, acting as an anchor point in the sky. The sun represents ego, identity, and how we express and shine in the world. So wherever the sun is, it illuminates and it brings awareness to that area of life. And so for the general public, this new moon started in Pisces next to Neptune and Saturn. And we talked about that in the new moon video, right? So the sun is shining light into what the two of these planets are doing in Pisces. It's the vital life force. So when the sun makes contact with any planet or point, it makes that energy visible, conscious, and undeniable. So we're feeling that Saturn and Neptune conjunction even more now than when they were exact, right? That feels more like what's happening. This is a magical month for us because the sun is illuminating the interaction between Neptune, where the sky's the limit, and Saturn that creates what you desire. Saturn does that. So the creating what you desire and sky is the limit. This can be anything you want. It'll also have to make a lot of checks with the other planets in your chart and at your table, but you see where I'm going with this. Like you guys can create whatever you want in this energy, the sun being the illuminator of that. So what you want to do when we're interpreting, let's say today, for example, I went ahead and I did a little screenshot of our current sky, moon, Venus, sun, Mars, Mercury. And I just said, well, what's the order? Where is it today? Well, it's number 3. And that makes a difference when we begin to tell the story of what the sky is speaking to us. Where is it? We covered that. It's in Pisces, conjunct Saturn and Neptune. And then we look at what is it connected to. Okay, so it's number 3 in the order of things. And when we look at the chart, this is the same thing as the sky. We have Pisces here and we have Pisces here. Oops. And the sun is the 3rd, moon, Venus, sun. Okay. So what's it connected to? Well, that's when you can look at the chart. You can see, well, okay, it's conjunct Saturn and Neptune. Is anything else going on? Well, yeah. This whole stellium here, which is more than a 2-planet conjunction, so 3 or more planets together like this is called a stellium. And the sun is shining light into the mystical realm of Pisces, and Neptune, sky's the limit, and Saturn building what you desire. And Uranus is in a sextile to this. And it's literally like, let's surrender to the change. Let's surrender to the revolution, surrender to the metamorphosis. I don't think we have a choice. This has been together for a long time, this sextile. So I think as well as the Pluto sextile back to the same stellium, this energy between these 3 points has been like this for many, many, many months. And I've always said it just feels like something is destined here. Like there's a shift in our collective consciousness that we just sort of have to surrender to and let it happen. But if we are coming from an authentic place, then we can create the reality that we want, right? So the sun is here, conjunct all the big baddies, and then in a relationship with the other 2. It's showing this connection. It's showing this reality to us. Okay, you guys can see it. All right. So when we so let's move on to Mercury. So right, we have sun here, we have Mercury's next. What's Mercury doing? Now Mercury frequently changes position due to its fast orbit and its regular retrograde cycles. It's constantly moving back and forth through the parade of planets. It retrogrades about every 116 days, creating periods of review, revision, reordering, breaking things, putting them back together. It's why we always say don't sign any contracts, don't commit to anything while Mercury's in retrograde. You're going to have to go back and fix it. Mercury represents the mind, thoughts, communication, connections, and business. It governs how we interpret, process, and articulate our experience. So depending on its position in the planetary order, Mercury can either lead with thought or follow behind as the interpreter of the situation. So when we interpret Mercury, which in our order today is number 5, what is its order? It's 5. Which way is it moving? Today it's stationing direct, but 2 days ago it was retrograde, right? So now we're going to read it as direct. And where is it? Looks to me like Mercury's in Aquarius. So we'll read this Mercury as an Aquarius Mercury, and then we'll look and see what it's actually connected to. So here we go. We have Mercury right here in Aquarius, stationing direct, almost done with that. And it is last in line because everything is moving from right to left in this representation. So let's look at the connections Mercury's making. Well, the moon is making a connection to Mercury today. So there is an emotional, mental connection that's happening, or that's possible because of the connections that Moon, who's in the lead in Aries, can make to Mercury in Aquarius. It's conjunct Rahu, the North Node. It's like this energy that wants change, that wants to consume, that wants to learn, that wants to conquer, that wants to know. And Mercury's right there, like, yeah, let's go. Let's know. Let's understand it. Let's figure it out. Let's get down to the bottom of it. This is also about like our collective beliefs, the collective narrative as well. So the collective narrative seems to be behind all the magic that's actually happening, right? We'll get into that in a little bit. But Mercury's experiencing a square to Black Moon Lilith and an opposition to Leo. So it's part of the collective destiny here to get out of the presentation phase and into the meaning phase, right? What's the self versus the collective, like being selfish versus serving. There's that energy there with our north and south nodes. But this square to Black Moon Lilith means that there's something being uncovered, something being hidden, a voice being given to that which had no voice before. So Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is going to be a very quiet energy, but it's more of like something that bubbles up from underneath. And Mercury with the North Node can actually bring that stuff into light, but it happens last. So it's as if the analysis and the revelation happen much later than the true revealing, or the revealing through emotion, intuition, even the light being shown on it, or even taking action on it. So that's interesting. But Mercury won't stay last. Mercury will move into fourth place and then overtake everybody again by springtime. Venus will shift positions like Mercury, sometimes leading and sometimes trailing the sun. That's evening star and morning star. She can travel up to about 2 constellations away from the sun, whereas Mercury can only go about 1 constellation away. So she has a wider range of separation. The cycle's also a lot longer. So it's about 584 days, and it takes, I want to say, 5 Mercury cycles within 1 Venus cycle. Venus represents creation, attraction, values, sensation, how we relate to others and to life. And so when Venus leads, the experience begins in the body and in feeling before it reaches conscious understanding. So once the moon passes the full moon phase, it's going to be more about what we feel in our body, our gut feeling, our intuition, what we feel in our head and our heart, just those body sensations. And we have to trust that because Venus is giving us an idea of the energy that's coming. So when we interpret Venus, it's the same thing as Mercury. We have to know, is it morning or evening? Is it direct or reverse? Is it, where is it? And what is the order? So Venus is number 2 in the lineup, and she is in Pisces, and she is an evening star, and she is direct. So we can read it all just like that. I'm basically just setting up all of these planets for you, and then I'm going to give you a reading of the day based on their order. So here you can see it. This is the same thing. There's the sky, there's Venus, We put her in number 2. So hopefully it's clicking now. You're starting to see how we're putting these guys in order and how we're analyzing their energy. So now, where's Venus's connections? Okay, well, she's conjunct Chiron. We just talked about that when we looked at the calendar and we saw Venus with Chiron for those 10 days. This can be a time of really beautiful, intense, creative healing, right? Sexual healing even. And she's just about coming off that square with Jupiter. So we won't be feeling this after the weekend. So that's really the only aspect she's going to be making as she takes the lead here as the moon moves through its full phase. And then she'll move into Aries as soon after the conjunction and soon after that full moon. So a light and passing square with Jupiter is fading away, and then she's moving into the tender arms of Chiron. The moon did this yesterday. It was with Chiron. And that was, yesterday was a little tough. I don't know if you guys had a tough day yesterday. There's a little emotion involved. Now let's talk about the moon. Because if we understand Mercury and Venus, now we can understand the moon's energy. And it's a little bit different because while Mercury just kind of yo-yos around the sun and only goes one sign away, either side, Venus also just goes maybe 2 signs away from the sun. The moon goes all the way around. So that means it's doing something a little bit different in terms of the cycle and the order in which it's represented. The moon is a dead body, right? It has no electromagnetic field. It's got a little magnetism from its rocks, but it's not a dynamo like Earth. It doesn't have any fire in it. It's not a dynamo like the sun either. So the light that we see from the moon, the theory is that it's reflected light of sun. And it's called the distributor of life force, right? So it reflects and distributes the light of the sun through the emotional and the intuitive body. It affects the tides. It's connected to the limbic system in our body. So it's like instinctual emotion sometimes. Emotion, intuition, empathy, the inner landscape. It's like when you know something, you just know something with the moon. It moves really quickly though. So like moon's revelations are usually quick and fleeting. And if you don't act on them, they move on. So we complete a full cycle each month and it contacts every single personal planet. In fact, it contacts every single planet every single month during its phases. From new moon to first quarter, the moon's waxing and can be considered as the leading light. After the full moon, the moon can be considered as following, reflecting, and integrating what's already been revealed. So conjunctions to these personal planets are especially important in the early phase of the lunar cycle. Later phases bring sextiles, squares, and oppositions that shape the emotional response and awareness. So for our moon, we want to know what phase it's in, and it's in a waxing crescent. It's in constellation Aries today. And it's number 1 in terms of leading because we haven't gotten to the full moon yet. It hasn't switched direction on its light. But it will. Once it gets to the full moon, the light will be looking from one direction and then it will turn and look the other direction. So then it becomes the follower. So we have phase, we have order, and then here you can see we have one more planet to go and we can just look and see what the moon is connected to. The moon's busy today, right? The moon's got a sextile to the north node in Mercury and then a trine back to the south node. And it's also square to Pluto. So today can be a day of revelations like, oh my God, I just understood something. Like it just came to me. I understand something so deep and so personal or something can come into your field out of nowhere. And that can be an emotional shock. Sometimes we can have an emotional shock today with moon square Pluto. So if you want the deeper moon interpretations, I would encourage you to check out my daily lunar forecast. I think this is what got me dinged for inauthentic content. And it is repetitive. But every day something changes. Either the date changes, the moon sign changes, the moon phase changes, the sun changes signs. Something changes every day. And we talk about that. And it's only about 2 to 3 minutes. And I also give you lunar remedies. And it's a little bit based on this hidden order of the planets, right? Because certain days you're going to feel things first. Certain days you're going to act first. Certain days you're going to think about things first. And this hidden order can reveal that to us. And so you're going to find these daily shorts on X. You're going to find it on Patreon. You're going to find it on YouTube. And soon you're going to find it on Instagram as soon as I figure out how to add Vishal, because I'm still figuring that out. But I encourage you to listen to that every day because then you know where the moon is, you know what phase it's in, and you know where it is in the lineup. Mars. Let's understand Mars. Mars is even more different. Because while Mars goes around the whole zodiac like the moon does, it doesn't do the yo-yo thing with the sun, it has a retrograde while the moon does not. So Mars is different from Mercury and Venus because he will travel the full 360 degrees relative to the sun, very much like the moon. But unlike the moon, Mars includes a retrograde period in the cycle, which adds another layer of complexity to understanding this order. Mars moves more slowly than the sun, while everything else moves faster than the sun that we've considered already. So moon's faster, Venus is faster, and Mercury are all faster than the sun. Mars will complete a full synodic cycle, meaning from sun conjunction to the next sun conjunction in 26 months. So 2 years and 2 months. And in the middle of that cycle, Mars will undergo a retrograde period that lasts 72 days. And this retrograde phase is very significant. It's similar in function to the gibbous phase of the moon, where something is building, intensifying, and becoming impossible to ignore. So at the point that Mars retrograde and the sun are in their opposition, there is a shift with Mars. Okay? This is where Mars changes position in the sequence. Before that sun Mars opposition, before that point, Mars is ahead of the sun or behind the sun, and after that Mars falls in front of the sun. I have that backwards. So he moves from last to first. You see? Mars represents action. It's how we take what we've thought, what we've felt, and what we've desired and bring it into motion. Mars is drive, ambition, focus, and force. It's the part of us that moves energy outward into the world. And Mars enacts the will of the divine through us. It's the force that says, now we do something with this. And whether that expression is constructive or reactive depends on how we are aligned with what came before it. So when Mars is leading, action comes first. When Mars is trailing, action follows, understanding, feeling, and awareness. And that order actually really matters. So I'm going to escape this and fix this slide real quick because I don't want to mislead you guys and I want you to see the real deal. So before this point, Mars is behind the sun. Mars moves in front. This is how we make the sausage here in the real sky. All right, last to first. Okay, so that is the correct slide. There we go. All right, so let's get into Mars's energy. So you see, here's Mars, and here's the order. We have the entire order of the day now. What phase is Mars in? Well, we just had the Mars-Sun conjunction, so Mars will be beginning to lag behind. Okay. It's in Aquarius. It is following everybody, but it's moving the slowest of all of the personal planets. And it's moving in a direct fashion, not retrograde. And it is number 4 right now, but in a few short weeks, it will be number 5 as Mercury overtakes Mars when it moves into the space where Sun and Saturn are. So when we feel into or we express what's happening with the Sun right now next to Saturn and Neptune, we'll feel it in our minds and we'll feel it with action in when those two get together right here in a few weeks. So very interesting. And there's the order once again. Hopefully this isn't boring to you now because this is where it really gets interesting. And this is the secret sauce of like reading the energy of today. So we'll look at Mars. Mars is in this kind of the same energy as Mercury was. It's in a square to Black Moon Lilith and connected to the North and South nodes. So a lot of action around what you believe in, like fighting for something or even fighting against something, right? But it's got to be based on your authentic truth. Mars and Mercury will do whatever you want, but as long as it's like true, then it's good for you. It's helping you. But if there's any ego or if it's inauthentic, then it's going to feel like the YouTube membership. It just felt inauthentic to me from the beginning in terms of like giving YouTube that space. So yeah, to me, this is an example of that kind of energy that didn't work. So it got eliminated surgically, like by Mars. Okay, cool. This is in my 10th house too, by the way, which is my, career, public image, that kind of stuff. So here is the order of today, March 21st. I know I went through a long thing just to get to this point, but check this out, right? So the moon's first, waxing crescent, Aries. Venus is next, evening star, direct in Pisces. Sun is third in Pisces, conjunct Neptune and Saturn. And then Mars is direct in Aquarius, and Mercury is direct in Aquarius as well, conjunct the North Node. So let me read this to you. Let me give you this right here. I have it right in front of me. Or I did. Hold on. Let me get it. Let's see. The hidden order. Here we go. So let's go through this. We'll just go through each one. The sun. Let's see. Did I do this right? Yeah, here we go. So the sequence isn't random, right? This is telling us how this experience is unfolding. We start with the moon. The moon is waxing in Aries, so she's leading. This is the first spark, the emotional ignition. Here, the movement is urgent. There's a sense that something is beginning. But notice what she's doing. She's sextiling back to Mercury and the North Node in Aquarius and squaring Pluto in Capricorn, while also trining the South Node in Leo. So this emotional body is already in contact with destiny, with a turning point, and with something that feels fated. There's tension with Pluto, meaning that something deep is being activated. And there's also a release point through the South Node. So today, the feeling comes first, before anything else. The body knows that something is shifting. And then we move to Venus. The evening star in Pisces conjunct Chiron. This is the siren. She sounds the siren. This is the signal. What the moon sparked emotionally, Venus deepens into the body. This is where we feel the ache, the longing, and the beauty mixed with pain. She squares Jupiter in Gemini. Even though that's separating, it's still a bit active. So there's a stretch here, a tension between what we feel and what we're trying to understand or expand into. So the sequence is feeling and then embodiment, not mental. This is all body energy today here, at least the first few feelings, the first few waves of whatever it is you feel. But then we move to the sun. With Saturn in Pisces, this is where the light begins to touch what Venus has already activated. Sun will bring awareness, but in Pisces, that awareness is still very fluid. It's still forming. Saturn and Neptune is working with structure and dissolution at the same time. Sun is sextiling Uranus and Pluto, which means there's support for change and transformation. So what Venus is feeling this week, the sun is beginning to reveal. But it's not sharp yet. It's still emerging into consciousness. And then we move to Mars. Mars is in Aquarius, direct, trining Jupiter and squaring Black Moon Lilith. Now, this is energy that is very activating. Mars is taking what has been felt and seen and beginning to move it outward. The trine to Jupiter brings expansion and momentum, while the square to Lilith brings raw, untamed energy into the field. This is where action begins. But notice it's not first. It's fourth. So it's the feeling, it's the seeing, and then it's the doing. And then finally you get to Mercury, and Mercury is direct in Aquarius conjunct North Node, right? The mind is catching up on karmic ground. Mercury is processing, interpreting, and trying to make sense of everything that's already unfolded. Mercury sextiling the moon, opposing the South Node, squaring Black Moon Lilith. There's some tension here. The mind is working, right? We're integrating something that's already in motion. But it's not clarity first. It's understanding after the fact. You see the depth of how you can read the sky if you look at their order, right? The experience begins in the body and the emotional field. It moves into awareness, then into action, and only then does the mind come in to interpret what's already happened. So that's basically how you do it. What do you guys think of that? I'm going to just check the chat and make sure you guys are still with me and you're doing good. Oh, good. We have some beautiful comments in here. Let's escape. But before I step out, I just wanted, if any of you are going to, come back to the presentation, we're going to get into some deeper astrology here. If any of you guys are going to come back, and you want to dive deeper into the cycles of the planets, I highly recommend the Cycles of Light course. If you are already signed up for the free preview course, just wait a day or two because I'm going to give you guys a discount. Anyone that signs up for that, the free level 1, I will be sending out an email to you to offer this class to you a little bit cheaper. But this is literally like the next step. If you love astrology and you're ready to start speaking it and start understanding the cycles, you don't even really need to have anything memorized to understand how the planets move. And this is a great lesson. We go through all of the planets. It's recorded live. So it's really beautiful. And if you actually do this course and want to do Stellar Foundations later, it's part of that curriculum too. So we'll get you in. All right, let's see. Let's see how you guys are doing. Oh, I just click on that. We stop. Okay, good. All right. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that how that hidden order works, and we're gonna experiment with it here in a little bit. I'm gonna show you how to play with it in your own chart. But I just wanted to sip some water and make sure you guys were good. All right, we got 42 in the chat. We have some birth dates. Let's see. Good. All right, you guys look good. Okay. Whoo. I know I'm getting somewhere because I'm sweating. Thanks for putting the link up there to the cycles class. Yeah. And Lori, I don't know if you put the Patreon link in there, but for the stargazers, for those that don't know what happened, we don't have a YouTube membership anymore. The membership is now just a bit cheaper, and it's over on Patreon. And I promise you that that will never get yanked from under your feet, even for 36 hours. So hopefully you guys will come over there. I made the price the frequency of love. It's $5.28, so that's why that's the price it is. I think it was $6.99 here on YouTube, but they took like I don't know, like 60 or 70% of it, so they don't get that anymore. All right, cool. We have birthdays. Good. I wanted to actually show you guys mine real quick because I did that first. I did that as an experiment, and I read it to my husband. He was like, "Oh my God, that's so you." So let's go look at that. Let's see. I got to go to my hidden order. All right, here we go. All right, one of these days I'm going to work with restream scenes. All right. But wait. Oh, but wait, there's more. The hidden order of your planets. Can you use this in your own natal chart? And the answer is hell yeah, you can. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to find that order. You guys should already know how to do that order because I just spent about 45 minutes doing that. But we'll do a couple more examples from some of the birth dates that are in the chat. I'll just give you guys your order. And then what you can do is review the presentation, and you can interpret your own way that you deal. It's kind of like taking your immediate reactions and picking it apart step by step and slowing it down so you can see how you work with things when they come into your field. Like, what do you do first? Do you think about it first? Do you feel about it first? Do you sense into it first? Do you run away? Like, what do you do? So this is my chart. And so we're going to get the numbers right. But what I wanted to do was just put this in the same orientation that we did with today's chart. I put the sun at high noon so that we could look at the order of the planets. They're still moving this way through their daily and yearly journeys, but I wanted you to see it the way we would look at it if it were today, for example. Okay, so this is my natal chart. We're just going to assign the order, and then we're going to flip it back. But I wanted the orientation to be the same. So again, you don't have to do real sky astrology. You can use tropical if you want to. The order would still be the same. If I took away this ring, we would still have the same order. Okay. So for me, Mars leads my pack, right? Mars is first. Mars is in Leo. My second planet in line is my sun. So I'm going to express, to shine, to ascend into whatever happens. There'll be enlightenment about it after the action. So it's almost as if I act first and then I am enlightened. Whereas after that, then I mentally process it and then I feel into it or create from it. And then because my moon is in a waning gibbous, so it went from waxing over here to waning over here, the full moon would be directly across. So she is a waning moon. She's pointing towards the pack. My moon's last. So I put moon fifth. So that's interesting. Now we have Dr. Danny's order. Let's flip the chart back around. You can see how this order works when it's aligned to my natural houses and the sky. And let me read this to you. You guys tell me if you think this is true. Although you guys really only see my mostly my public persona, although I try to just be who I am anyway. So this is my hidden order. Mars is first, and it is in Leo in the 4th house. This means that my experience begins with action in the private realm. So in other words, when I react, my reactions are usually private. It's usually in my foundation, in my home, in my inner world. Mars in Leo, however, brings bold and expressive creative force, but because it's in the 4th house, that fire begins internally. It's something that moves in my core before it's seen outside of me. And the square to Neptune in the 7th, there can be moments where I act in response to relationship dynamics or unseen emotional currents before everything is fully clear. Meaning, yes, I will sometimes act without thinking. But for me, it's driven by the 4th house, which is typically where the intuition lives, right? So my actions are, if they're guided by intuition and trust instead of ego, then I'm usually the square usually isn't a problem. I usually know things ahead of time with relationships. Like I can tell when somebody is going to tell me something they don't want to tell me. I can usually feel that. Um then comes the sun in Cancer in the 3rd house. So after I act, awareness comes through communication, thought, and immediate environment. The 3rd house brings this into the language I speak, the sharing, the teaching. Sun opposes Black Moon Lilith in the 9th, and this is tension between my personal voice and the larger truths or belief systems. So while the trine to Neptune actually allows intuitive understanding or inner standing to begin flowing in. So I act, and then I begin to understand and express what that action meant. Then Mercury's 3rd. It's in Cancer in the 2nd house. So when the mind comes in, it's processing through value, through worth, through what is mine. This is 2nd house, right? The 2nd house asks, what does this mean for my resources, my stability, my sense of self-worth? But Mercury T squares Chiron and Uranus, right? In the 5th and 11th. So the thinking process isn't really simple for me. It's electric, it's creative, and it's also tied to healing intention within the community and how it is expressed. So my mind works very hard to make sense of something that's already unfolded through action and awareness. Then comes Gemini in the Venus in Gemini in the 2nd house. So after my mind has processed everything, I move into the value, the connection, the creation, and all of this is again through the 2nd house. Venus here, especially conjunct Saturn, brings structure and commitment to what I create and what I build. This is where I begin to stabilize and define what matters. The trine to Jupiter in the 10th house allows that value and creation to expand outward into my public sphere, into purpose, into visibility. So, what began as an internal action now starts to take form as something that I can offer to the world. And then finally, the moon in the 9th house in Capricorn, a waning gibbous moon. This means emotional integration comes at the end, and it happens through meaning, philosophy, higher perspective. The 9th house asks, what does it all mean? What is the larger truth? It reflects, it organizes, it integrates the experience into something structured and something wise. So, with the supportive aspect to the lunar nodes that I have and the sextile to Chiron, there's a sense of emotional understanding that connects back to purpose, identity, and also healing. But it's not first. So, it comes after everything has already moved through me. So I act internally first, then I become aware and I express it, then I process what it means, and then I refine and build, and then from that, healing and sharing. You see? So that pretty much resonates for me. I thought that was pretty interesting, and my husband agreed with that. So I'm curious to try it out on some of you guys and see what y'all think of that. All right. Cool. All right, who wants to go first? Let's see. Should I go from the first part of the chat or to the end of the chat? I don't know. I don't know the right thing to do. Let's see. Let's see. One of these days, I'll set it up so you guys can join me and we can do your charts. That'll be fun. Well, let's see. Okay. This is the first birthday I see. I don't know if you're still in here, best mission ready, but we're going to go with your birthday. And I actually don't even need your location. We're just going to determine the order of your planets. So I'm going to pull this out so that I can actually see what we're doing here. Put this up here. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Best mission. Put your name in here. December 24th, 1985. I'm just going to put 12 noon. I'm not going to be able to tell you what your rising sign or your houses are, but we'll just start with that. And I'll put turkey. I'll just put Istanbul, maybe. Istanbul. That's in Turkey, right? Yeah, Istanbul. All right, cool. Let me show you this. This is our friend Best Mission Ready's chart. And we're going to think about this person's order. I can't draw on this, but we can look at it together at the very least. All right, so let's see. So I would say that for you, Best Mission, your moon leads. So moon's number 1. Mercury and Sun are together, but they have just switched places. So it's Moon, Mercury, Sun, Mars, and then Venus. And Venus is last. So that's your order. Moon number 1, Mercury number 2, Sun number 3, Mars number 4, and Venus number 5. And so you can take that analysis that we just did and give your placements and aspects. You can do that with chat if you want to, or you can send it to me in an email and I can check it out for you. And it will give you like what your pathway through energy is, right? So you probably feel first. You have an expansive amount of emotional energy, but it's anchored in your 3rd house. So it's more of a curiosity for you, an emotional curiosity. Like you feel something and you're like, what the hell was that? Right? And your moon is like way out in front of everybody. So it's a processing that has assistance from your mind and also has assistance from sort of structure and also from some kind of guiding force with Jupiter being there. And it's square your lunar nodes. So oftentimes it's curious, but it also feels very karmic. Like, whoa, like you feel it, but then you don't quite understand it yet. It may take maybe a few weeks or so. And then finally there's like an aha moment between like you. So your Sun and your Mercury here conjunct are trying to this. And so you get this kind of karmic kick in the pants emotional energy. And then you begin to have, once your mind is connected to it, then it begins to make sense. That might be how it goes for you. And then you're inspired to take action and to create from that. And if this were your 10th house, then you would be expressing yourself publicly. You would be creating publicly. You would be taking action publicly around it. Whereas my Mars is down in the 4th house, I shadow box all by myself. You will shadow box in front of people, you see, if that's really where your 10th house is. So it's that simple, right? I mean, we could do that. Let's see who else. If you're still in the chat, let me know if that resonated for you. Let's see if we can get a few more. Maybe we'll do it like this. No. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's see if I have any more birthdays. Let's see. Helen is June 8th of 1975. So let me do Helen. All right, Helen. June 8th, 1975. And I don't have location, so you're going to be in Istanbul, Turkey, too. But that's okay. All right. Let's share this. Right here. Okay, so this is Helen's chart. And we have Sun up here, and we can look at the order. Let's see. It looks like Venus is first. and then Mercury is second, but you have Mercury retrograde, so that's pretty intense. And you have your chart ruler in that mix as well. So you have Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon, and then Mars. So your Mars is last. But your Sun and Mercury might be a little bit more important in this order for you because Sun is your chart ruler and Mercury is retrograde. So it's really intense energy. But typically, you're going to be the person that senses into things. You kind of know what's going on in the room, in the friendship networks, in the collective. You probably have a big sense of like, what's coming, who's getting ready to make a big move, who needs help. Like you just sort of know that, you feel into that. You've got uh nice energy to your Venus. It's in a nice aspect to your lunar nodes. It's in a sextile to the moon. So which is ruled, rules Cancer, so a lot of lunar energy around your Venus, around your intuition. So yeah, when you feel something in your body, it's very much connected to your intuition, especially around your group, your collectives, even around things that you're inspired to do, your futuristic thinking. After that, we have a very strong Mercury. So it's almost as if I bet your friends say you're psychic because you're like, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. So everybody knows you as kind of like someone who's in a spooky way knows things before they even know it's going to happen. And you're seen for that. You're known for that with your Sun there. The emotional part of you is very much tied to what you believe and the realms of higher learning and knowledge. And then again, that's hooked in there. So a very spiritual mind, a very connected mind, a very clairvoyant energy as well. And then you rarely take actions. You're like a spiritual warrior. You aren't going to act on egoic energies at all. So yeah, Mars in Pisces is not a fighter. It's the spiritual warrior, and in eighth house, it's just very deep. It's very shifty in a way. So it's the actions are not always clear. You don't always have to take action. It's almost as if you're set up so actions will happen for you in a way. All right, well that's pretty cool. So your Venus is 1, Mercury is 2, Sun is 3, Moon is 4, and Mars is 5. All right, cool. Yeah, we may do more of these over on Patreon. Let me do one more for you guys. Let me know if that resonates for you, Helen. All right, let's see who's next. 1D, I need your 1D JD Z, I need your year. I'm in Texas. Patreon's not working? Okay. That doesn't surprise me. Probably because I have to go in there and make it go live. But we'll post this either way. It's fine. I'll get some of the questions here. Let's see if there's anybody else with a birthday. I'm going to the end now because I think we talked about it. Okay, there we go. Okay, 1D, you put May 4th at the beginning and then you gave me your year. So I will do you 1DJDZ. Got you. Okay, let's do it. Let me put your stuff in here. 1DJDZ. May 4th. All right, you'll have to let me know how I did with this. 1962. All right, and I'm just going to put 12 Istanbul, Turkey. Okay. Because it doesn't matter like where or time. All that matters is that we have, am I sharing? Yeah. Okay. Let's put this up and you guys can see this. So for you, 1DJ, let's see. You are a Leo rising and it looks like your Venus is first, your Mercury second, your Moon is third, your Sun is fourth, and Mars is third. Look, another Pisces, Mars, spiritual warrior. Again, the action comes last with you. You wait. You wait until all possible others have exhausted actions before you begin to take any action. That can be good and bad. But Venus, so you're again a person who is intuition based. You're feeling based. You're an artist. You express yourself. Extra people know you for your art, and your art is how you communicate. So you communicate through your art, and people know you for that. Um, you tend to be a little bit hot-headed in your emotions. So, like, you're going to, uh but it inspires you also, right? So the fiery initial reaction inspires you to create, and then you have material to do so, so you can express it. And again, you're not prone to, like, react with action until all possible actions have been done by everyone else, and then you take action as the spiritual warrior. So very cool. All right. 3 examples of how we can do some really cool stuff with the charts. This thing's fun. I'm gonna do some Q&A here, and then we will call it a night. So let me go back and see who's asking questions. Make sure everybody knows what's going on. All right, let's see. I appreciate all of you for being here, and for those of you, supporting me and following us over to Patreon. It means a lot. I mean, the membership was really, like, the reason why I said, "Alright, I need to do, like, consistent content. It can't just be whenever I have a cool idea. Like, I need to deliver something." Um, and so, really, the Patreon folks are who support that. YouTube's pennies. I mean, unless I go, like, viral and I get, those sponsors. But I again, I wouldn't even do sponsors unless they were, aligned to what we're doing here. So, all right. Officially Patreon. Good. I'm glad you guys are jumping over there. Yeah, please do. DJ asks, what state am I in? I'm in Texas. Texas. Corpus Christi, the Gulf Coast. We have a little airport, but it's kinda like the last it's, like, not a place you would lay over to. It's kinda like the destination, so we have about 6 gates. It's pretty funny. Alright. Astrology asked me about equinox and equilax. Hmm. I'm I'm not sure I understand the second term, equilax. It might mean something about the lines crossing and the sun being on it, and equinox. But equinox, it means equal night, and equilax might mean just equal latitude and longitude. So equal night and equal day, right? That's the equinox, and it can be the vernal equinox or the autumnal equinox. In our southern hemisphere, our brothers and sisters are experiencing their fall season. It just started, and for us in the northern hemisphere, we are the spring. But equinox is a hard thing to actually identify if you're just a layperson and you didn't have clocks and computers. If you were just trying to figure out when equinox was, because they didn't really have a systematic or atomic clock to measure out what time it was, what second it was, what hour it was. They literally just divided the day and the night into 12 equal segments. So, for example, in the northern hemisphere, when it's winter, those shorter days for them were still 12 hours. They were just shorter hours, right? They weren't 60 minutes. They didn't care about that. It was the hour kind of marked the flow of time for people. We do things down to the second, but back then it was by the hour. And at night you watch the stars, and that would signify what hour you were in. And they divided the night into 12 hours. So at night in the winter, the night was 12 hours, but they were longer hours. They were like actually an hour and 17 minutes as opposed to 60 minutes. So the way that they figured out it was equinox with through the water clock is you have a source of water which the flow is the same rate, like it's always coming out at the same rate. It's like toop, 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 toop. You note the moment of sunrise. You fill a vessel during the day. You mark the 12 graduations on that vessel, and that gives you your hours. When the evening vessel and the daytime vessel, so you get another one for sunset, when they were the same level of water, then you were equinox. and you could see the water levels change over time. And so that's how they knew it was equinox. Not everybody could do that. That wasn't something that ancient people did, but you could tell in the sky when solstice is happening. You can absolutely note that moment because you can see the sun pause and shift back the other way, either for winter or summer solstice. Janine, are you referring to the chart calculator? So on my website, I have a little code snippet that Athen from Mastering the Zodiac kindly gave to me so that I could put on my website. But you can also go to truesky.masteringthezodiac.com and use the same software that we use. You can absolutely do that. Yeah, it's the same calculator. Well, this is my first attempt to stream to Patreon, so it may be that I had to go in there and click something, and I just didn't. So, bear with me as we expand, friends. I'm just all of this is so new to me. I'm a quick study, but it's just a lot of things that I have to study to make all this work. So I'm getting it done. All right, cool. Yeah, we should definitely all you do is you just take the chart and you mirror it. You just invert it like it's looking into a mirror, for Southern Hemisphere astrology. I'm gonna do that. I might do that. We might make it a Patreon thing. Yeah, sorry about Patreon, you guys, about not streaming over there. Hmm. Lori says, "It feels like a new year, and I claim this year started March 20th." Yeah, you could start it wherever it feels good to you. For me, it's like the winter solstice when the sun climbs out of that galactic rift. To me, that's the rebirth of the sun. But we can do spring as the first day of the year if you want. It's all good. Yeah, I like this interpretation, Claire Louise. Healing the Chiron wound. It's like the key to rebirth, as it looks like an inverted key. And keys were a theme for you last month. Perhaps a heads up from HR to dig deep. Perfect. Yeah, Chiron is in 11th house for me, so it's, wounds around networks. And when I got that email from YouTube saying they got rid of my membership, I had a gut reaction. I mean, I was just like it felt like a Chiron wound almost, like why would they do that to me, you know? Yeah, let's do some under programming this week. Just take it easy, just do what feels good. Stay happy. Oh my goodness. Lyndall Sam from When to Zen. Chiron is conjunct Mars opposite Pluto. How's that resonating for you? Yeah, Chiron conjunct Mars. You could actually be someone who really doesn't have a lot of emotions around wounds. You could be somebody that can actually really, really hurt somebody too, like without feeling any remorse about it. I'm not saying you're like that, but you could with that connection. It's like adding the mission to the Chiron energy. So that mythic healer now has a mission, and that mission is opposite the planet of wealth. Like Pluto is generational wealth. It's obsession. It's legacy. So it's as if the will to heal, the will to transform, has to look Pluto in the face, right? So I guess it depends on the constellations too, how they're looking at each other. But that could be intense. You got a very strong mission here, for sure. Nice. Good, good, good. All right, let's see. Yeah, Mercury retrograde loves universal fuckery. Well, you have to laugh at it. If you don't, it's just gonna make you crazy. It's just gonna make you crazy. Yeah, I mean, if things break, it's time for something new. So you can also look at it as gratitude, like, "Thank you so much for breaking," you know? "Thank you because I wanted a new thing. I wanted to do it differently." Yeah, that song, so AI wrote the song, and then Vishelle did the video, so really happy with that. Yeah, YouTube gave me everything back, but I shut it down when they did because I couldn't see it just felt so unstable. Like, what if we have thousands of members in the future? I mean, that's great, but, like, what if we had that and then all of a sudden YouTube's algorithm decided something else about this channel? It just didn't feel right. I would rather them email me and say, "Hey, we'd like to review your channel. You have 90 days or we will demonetize you," rather than you are temporarily demonetized because you're inauthentic. Like, what is that? I don't even know what that is, so let's see. All right, we got Prophet. We got Dr. We have Sarita here. Nice to see you. We have uh, Android, Android, sir, name it Traveler. Okay. All right. Andrina here from New Zealand. Hello, hello. Yeah, we're gonna do a Southern Hemisphere thing, I think. Wow, what a lively group we have today. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody's birthday, but we will definitely. Oh God, look at all these birthdays. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You can do this for yourself. You just gotta listen to the instructions again, look at your chart, put the sun at noon, and, like, just see what the order is. When you did this, were you changing the birth time to noon or doing a transit at noon? I was doing today's, transits, and I was putting them at noon. Let's see, Chainsaw Work Son. What's up, coolness? Caught you first time from the Archaics family. Got you going solo my first time. Lucky me. Cheers. Saw you were watching Decode Code Your Reality. Good dude. Nice. Stay happy. Yes. Yes. I consider Logan a friend and a colleague and just a beautiful soul. And he has definitely opened my eyes to the underlying connections of the universe. Like he explains how synchronicities work through his work. He explains why nothing is a coincidence. Um, why you have things that come up just out of nowhere that are it's beautiful. It's beautiful work and it's the graphics are lovely. So yeah. He's also on Patreon too. All right. Good. Okay, this is good. I'm glad that YouTube refunded you if you were paying for the membership on YouTube. We don't want you guys to get stiffed. All right, good. Well, that's my teaching for today. I just wanted you guys to get an idea of how that works. I promise I will fix Patreon and we'll make that work. I'll just put this YouTube link over there and hopefully they will be able to you'll be able to see it. It's going to be a free video. So if you're over there and you're hanging out with Patreon, I'm sorry you couldn't catch it live, but here it is. So I'm going to give you guys the top 10 reasons as we close out this video. I'm going to show you the top 10 reasons why you should study astrology. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. Much love. Oh my gosh. There we go. We'll do that.